4 signs your marriage is over. Hey guys, my name is Danny and I'm your life and a relationship coach. And today we got a bit of a heavy subject matter, right? Coming to a point where you understand that your marriage may be over is difficult for anybody who is in that situation, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. It's all consuming, right? And a lot of the times what I find is that people just don't know. They aren't sure of the signs. They aren't 100% secure in the decision that they're making because, what if there's this that we can change? What if, he's able to fix himself? What if she's able to fix herself? Maybe you feel like the issues aren't as bad as other people are saying they are. But then that also brings into question, how secure are you in the relationship? How safe does your heart feel with your partner? Are you potentially in a toxic cycle, but because you don't have self-esteem or self-confidence, you allow yourself to stay in the situation because it's better than being alone? And what I oftentimes ask my clients is, if your fear is to be alone, how long have you already felt alone in the relationship, right? It's one of those step back and reflect and really think. Because if you have felt alone for a really, really, really long time, then you kind of already have realized your worst fears. So I wanted to provide at least 4 things for you to start to look at to say, okay, let me actively and consciously think about my relationship and come to maybe an emotional understanding that, yeah, maybe things are over and I need to move on and I need to start to process what has happened so that I can get to a better, healthier place. And the first thing that we take a look at is contempt, right? Is there contempt in the relationship? And basically what contempt means is that your partner treats you less than. You are not the same value. He does not value you. And he puts himself above you all the time, or she puts herself above you all the time, right? There's belittling. Your thoughts don't matter. Your emotions don't matter. And once you get to this place, it's very hard to come back from that, right? Because what that actually leads to is a general lack of respect for you as a human being, not just as this person's partner, but as a human being. As a person, you have the right to feel valued. You have the right to be in a position where you're cared for and you're desired and you're being fulfilled in the relationship. And if that is not happening and your partner is actively making the decision and purposely putting you down, then it's time to take a step back and really reevaluate the relationship, reevaluate the marriage and say, is this something that I want to continue in? And is it possible for this to be fixed? Because oftentimes, once we get to that place, once contempt sets into the marriage, it's really hard to get back from that. The second thing that we look at is stonewalling, right? Is your partner stonewalling you? And basically what that means is that they are purposely and actively not paying attention to you. They are dismissing you. They are not validating you. They are shutting down conversation because they just don't give a shit. They don't want to talk to you. They don't care. Doesn't matter how you're feeling, whatever. That's your problem, not their problem. And if you have been in this cycle for quite some time, it is very possible and likely that the relationship is over, not just the marriage, right? Because there's a difference between a relationship and a marriage. And the relationship is actually the bond that you form with that individual, how you communicate with each other, how you interact with each other, the emotional exchange that you guys have. The marriage is more so of a structure, right? So you are married, you are in a legal partnership with somebody. But the relationship, that bond that you have with somebody, that is broken if that person is stonewalling you. They just don't care about your feelings. They don't care about you. They don't care how you process things, and they don't want to listen to you. And that's not a good place to be, right? Because it is not possible to grow a relationship let alone sustain a relationship if there is an inability to have an equal exchange with each other, for your partner to understand you, for you to understand them, for you to be able to communicate effectively and productively. If that is the case, it's very likely that you're going to have to take a step back again and say, you know what? This is where I'm at realistically. Is it rational for me to stay in this relationship? And if I so choose to stay, even though I know that this is bad for me, you need to take a look inside. You need to understand why you are accepting less than, because for me, that is usually a red flag or an indication of an individual who struggles with setting healthy boundaries. There may be some codependency that's going on. There may be some self-esteem or self-confidence issues that are going on. And those are all things that you're going to have to work out. And I invite you to try to explore in order to really start to understand why you stay in this dynamic. The third one is lack of respect. And I mentioned it earlier, right, with the first part, which was contempt. A lack of respect is your partner not really viewing you as their equal, right? You are less than. They may speak to you in a horrible way. They may use foul language when they're talking to you. They may not listen to what it is that you need or you want or your expectations. Maybe they're constantly crossing your boundaries, and they're not really caring to invest in you as a person, right? Respect is a huge part of a relationship. You have to be able to hear each other out. You have to respect the individual for who they are, because when you originally got into the relationship, the reason for why you were attracted to each other, the reason for why you decided to take it from a casual relationship to a committed relationship, is because you respected that person's ideologies. You respected that person's view on the world, their perspective, their perception, the way that they operate. And if that no longer exists, you are no longer with the same person that you were with when you started the relationship. And I say this all the time, right? People change, people develop, people evolve. But if your partner has devolved, if the relationship has devolved, then you're not in a good place, right? You always want to be progressing, not regressing. And if you have gotten to a point where you don't have respect for each other, there's contempt in the relationship, there's stonewalling, and all of these things are adding up, really take a moment to decide whether this is something that is going to benefit you in the long run. And 9 times out of 10, the answer is going to be no. The fourth and final one is a lack of romantic feelings, right? I mean, we all go through periods of time where our drive, our libido may not be at its peak, right? There's peaks and there's lulls. But there's a difference between having peaks and lulls in libido and actually being attracted to your partner on a romantic level. And this is one of the hardest things for people to come to terms with, right? Because we kind of just sweep everything under the rug. We compartmentalize everything and we try to convince ourselves that everything is okay because we have invested so much time in this relationship. We have invested so much into this individual. There are so many memories that we have built over time. And even if a majority of those memories are negative, we still hold on to them because they are memories. But at the end of the day, are you romantically attracted to your partner? Do you see yourself being sexual with your partner? Do you view them in a non-platonic way? And if the relationship has transitioned into a platonic one, more of a companionship, it's really about taking a step back and saying, are you okay with being in a platonic relationship? Are you okay just being a companion? And I see this so often, right? Most people think that the older that you get, right? So once you start kind of transitioning into your 50s and your 60s and your 70s, that your relationship transitions into a companionship. That's not true. That's not necessarily true, right? Sex is still a big part of a relationship, no matter how old you are. And I have seen it to where there are couples that are 75 years old and they still have an incredible active sex life, and couples that are in their 30s that have transitioned into a companionship already. It's really about taking a step back and reevaluating and saying, am I okay with this? Is this what I want? And if the answer is no, have you tried everything possible to try to change the dynamic? And if you have, and it still has not worked, coupled with all of these other things that I talked about, it's really time to take a step back and evaluate whether this marriage is the right marriage for you. Understand, it's not the end. It's not over. There's still hope. And people always think that once the marriage is dissolved, once the marriage is over, that's it. Their life is over. They're out to pasture. That's it. That's not true. It's really about your perspective and your mindset and how you view things. Do you view this as an ending of your life, an ending of all, or is this an opportunity for you to learn? Is this an opportunity for you to grow as an individual? And maybe there are aspects of the relationship that you were also accountable for. Learn the lesson and take that lesson and apply it to your next relationship, because there will be a next relationship. You just have to believe it. If you guys like this video, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. If there's anything that you feel like I missed, if you have any questions, if you have any opinions about the subject matter, please make sure you leave them down in the comment box down below as well. I love to have open dialogue with people. I read all of the comments, so please, I would love to hear what you have to say. Maybe you just want more information, right? You want to know a little bit more. You can go to our website, www.happily-committed.com, where you can find a multitude of different articles, videos, blogs related to this subject matter and many other subject matters as well. If you want to book a one-on-one coaching session because you just feel like I need a little bit more, my situation, my circumstance is very unique. It's very different. I need to speak to a coach. You can book directly with me or any of the other amazing coaches that we have on the team. We are here to support you and help you, and I know how difficult this can be. Again, my name is Danny. I'm your life and relationship coach. I hope you're staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you guys soon.